Hello, this is Kosztowski. I'm one of the neurosurgeons at Texas Back Institute, and today we're talking about head concussions in sports. Concussions, especially when you've had multiple concussions, the effects of them can be compounded over time. So I mean that's the biggest concern. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy is basically the damage that occurs to the brain over multiple different concussions and kind of brain trauma from contact sports or any sort of just kind of contact damage to the head. And over time these changes build up and they can have significant effects in terms of neurological function as well as psychological well-being. Oftentimes, CTE is diagnosed with pathological stains of the brain during autopsy. So there's, the MRIs can sometimes pick up some, sequela of brain trauma, but the actual diagnosis of CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, that's really with more pathology tissue studies. Like football, I mean, helmets do some good, okay, and I think that they're now discussing a new generation of helmets that are supposed to hopefully protect better from concussions. Although I think that the data, I think they're still gathering that. So, I mean, the best thing is just kind of to avoid being in those sorts of situations or avoid contact sports. And that's a major decision for people to make, in terms of their passions and their hobbies or whatnot. But sports like boxing, I mean, it's almost going to be inevitable that sooner or later you're going to have some contact to the head, and that the brain's going to get some impact from that. As a coach, you're just trying to make sure that your players are practicing the safest kind of techniques possible with the sport. As parents, I mean, likewise, I mean, just to kind of teach your kids, protect yourself as much as possible, try to avoid, as much kind of contact as you can, or even avoid some of these sports in general. I think a lot of parents are really trying to steer the kids away from these contact sports. And then, if your kids are going to do the contact sports, then make sure that you're wearing as much protective gear as possible, headgear, helmets, etc. Sports are good, and I think that we don't want to completely change sports, but we can change some of the behaviors in sports to make it as safe as possible. Because at the end of the day, in terms of concussions, these are going to have permanent effects on the body and the brain. I mean, I might be biased as a neurosurgeon, but the brain, I feel, is the most important organ in our body, and really something that you want to protect as well as possible because it's going to have lifelong effects.